welcome to another edition of Socrates Explains Everything. On another one of these really windy days here in the Netherlands. Still haven't gotten a wind, Mike, because of the coronavirus. Things are a little delayed. So I tucked in behind this fence, down by near another molen down here in Napkoude, but this is a different one. It's nice to have a destination to take your bike ride for. And so I've been riding to the windmills. And it's another one of these glorious days. And supposedly going to be raining next week. So at this point, if you can get a chance to go outside on a lockdown vacation, take it. So I wanted to talk again a little bit about capitalism and what we're doing with this whole corona thing. And capitalism, its future, the important things, and what we need to capture. I've said in the past about what I consider the 5 pillars of society, which is pretty much food, shelter, clothing, medicine, and energy. Not necessarily in that order, although food is definitely the most important one. I think followed by shelter, and then energy, and then medicine, and finally clothing. Because we can all kind of make clothes if we have to, and let's face it, there's a lot of clothes. But if you look at the 5 pillars, and how capitalism provides them and what we have to make sure we provide in the future for it. Food, again, we've already done all of these things. None of these things are magic or at the moment impossible. But within capitalism, we actually waste about 40% of the food we produce. So if you remove that waste, which significantly is because of capitalism and what you can and cannot provide a profit on, then it's just a question of distribution, and we're already producing more than we need. So if we continue doing what we're doing, we overproduce in food. The same thing would apply to shelter for the most part. We have more than enough space for people to live, and the homeless people, well, that's sort of a crime against society, and they should all be found a place to live. I think if we changed aspects of capitalism, there would be a lot of what are now businesses that we wouldn't need anymore. Certainly everything in dealing with accounting, etc. And we could certainly change enough office space and accommodate people. So everybody should have a place to live. Energy, again, we create more than enough energy. This would allow us to then move into doing renewables and get rid of the fossil fuel and continue to use crude oil as a petrochemical, because crude oil is really too valuable to burn. We need it for all sorts of industrial purposes. It's a very, very valuable thing, crude oil. Then you end up with medicine, which is doing quite well. But this would allow to change the idea of how you have profitable medicine, and it's just simply possible medicine. And we could work on the technical, not the profitable. And that would make the whole problem of medicine a lot simpler, because it's a hard enough problem as is, trying to solve a solution. But to try to solve it profitably, it doesn't really add anything to it. And of course, clothing, I think we've already produced more than enough, and that shouldn't be a problem. So I think the 5 pillars of society can be easily held up in a future system. Now, one of the questions would be, well, what do people do in that society? I think innovate, produce, and be part of it as part of the whole future. Instead of corporations owning ideas and the means of production, somehow that becomes essentially a version of the state. Yeah, the big brother if you like, but we all have ownership in it, as opposed to now when we have to claw and scratch for things. I hear an airplane, first one in days. But what does industry do? Well, industry essentially has, 5 costs, if you will. The resources they consume, the energy they consume, the amount of time it takes to consume it or create it, the amount of waste they produce, which is critical, and also a question of disposability or renewability. So industry's goal should be to reduce all of its costs. So the things that industry makes should use the least amount of resources, the least amount of energy. They should reduce the least amount of waste, and they should take the least amount of time to create and to use, and they should be as renewable and disposable as possible. And one of society's goals would be to help industry to become lower with costs. And since nobody would own an idea anymore. You would just own your inputs to it. There wouldn't be companies owning ideas. They would essentially be open source. Then everybody could work on solutions. And now there's a value in having a highly educated society. And the same way people love getting likes and appreciation, and I don't appreciate the wind. Well, I appreciate it, but, trying to make a video. But people wanting likes and appreciation, you would still have that. That would be the beauty of it. Now anybody who came up with a great idea would be given the rewards of appreciation, given the credit for their inputs. And suddenly the whole world changes from one of competing against each other to one where we're competing on the same team as everybody. And everybody's win becomes everybody else's win. And then suddenly we could solve problems and change everything. I think within 10, 20 years the Earth would be transformed into almost a science fiction future. I think this is time when we should grab it, Some things are transformative, and I don't think you can see it, but off in the distance there's a modern version of that. I'll edit that. Some things are transformative. I don't know if you can see it, but off in the distance is a modern version of that windmill still spinning right now in this windy day. I didn't drop the phone, did I? Anyway, this was Socrates here in the me in Alsmira? Yeah, I'm back in Alsmira. Alsmir. Gonna take a bike ride home. Let's fix the world. Let's make it better. Let's make it better for ourselves. We'll do it for selfish reasons, I'd like to live in a better world, wouldn't you? See you soon. Be safe. Take care of yourselves. Don't drop your phone.